Hi, I'm Jilly G. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make my gluten-free chicken casserole. This is such a fast, easy dinner to make, and you can change the ingredients every time you make it. I know I say that all the time. You can substitute the chicken with ham or tuna fish. This is a basic casserole recipe that uses cream of something kind of soup. I've got a jar here of my homemade gluten-free cream of mushroom soup. It's in my cookbook. It's also here on my channel. You could certainly use cream of chicken soup for this recipe, also in my cookbook and here on my channel. I've got some gluten-free cornflakes for the topping. I've got some gluten-free pasta. And now for the vegetables, because I always like to get in extra vegetables where I can. My favorite vegetable to put in this kind of casserole is peas. But today I actually have some frozen broccoli. And this time of year, when I start kind of cleaning out my freezer and planning my garden, I kind of look and see what I've got in the freezer from last year's harvest, or, just trying to kind of clean things out. Spring cleaning, maybe. And so I had some frozen chicken, and this is a combination of chicken breasts and chicken thighs that I had roasted in the oven with nothing but salt and pepper. And you can put in as much or as little as you want. This is about 4 cups of chicken. You could certainly get away with a lot less chicken and just double up on your vegetables, but I like it to be a nice, well-rounded meal. And I've talked about this pasta quite a few times, and you've seen me use it here. And I really do like this brand, and this is the elbow pasta. You can use whatever shape of pasta that you like. Now that being said, this pasta I recently purchased from Azure Standard, and I bought this in a bulk box, and it came with a pack of 12, and it was a really good deal. And I thought, I use this pasta quite often, and that was a really good deal to buy so many at once. And if you've never heard of Azure Standard, I will put the link below, and I have become an affiliate with them. If you use my link, it doesn't cost anything extra for you, but it does earn a small commission for me that I can buy products and show them to you here on my channel and show you recipes. So even though I have shown you this pasta before, you can purchase this through Azure Standard. And I'm so happy that I can start sharing their products with you. If you go to their website, you don't have to be gluten-free to enjoy their products. Although they have a really wide range of gluten-free products, from pasta to flours to baking mixes, such as like a cake mix or a cookie mix. They also have a lot of different grains, alternatives. Many products are not gluten-free, but they really have a wide variety of gluten-free products. I've been using Azure Standard for many years, me and my family. But check out their link below and you can see how their program works. They have so many products that are gluten-free that are not food. Such as cleaning products or garden seeds. I actually purchased quite a few varieties of garden seeds. So I'm excited to use those seeds this year in my garden. They also have many beauty products to choose from that are gluten-free. I know some of us that are gluten-free are very sensitive to products that even something like a lotion might be a concern if it has gluten in it. So I'm so happy to be working with Azure Standard. Again, the link is in my description box below. If you use my link and use my share code, that will help support my channel. So now on to the recipe. Such a fast, easy recipe for a weeknight dinner. This recipe is a recipe that you could triple, quadruple. You could make so much of this recipe at one time. For example, if you have a church function to go to and you need to feed a lot of people, this recipe is so easy to just make a lot of. Or if you like to make a lot and store it in the freezer. I'm just making a single batch today that will fit in a casserole dish, but make as much as you want and freeze it. And then you always have a ready-made dinner in your freezer. So I'm going to preheat my oven to 350. I've got a large pot here with water to boil our pasta. And I'm going to get this boiling. And then I've got my strainer here. You can use any vegetable that you like. I just happen to have, a couple of cups of frozen broccoli in my freezer. But put whatever you want in here. And you don't have to use some kind of cream soup, of course, that is gluten-free. I really like the cream of mushroom soup with this, but because it is chicken, use cream of chicken. If you don't have any cream of something soup already in your freezer or on your shelf, if you can your own, you can buy store-bought condensed soup. You may or may not need to dilute it a little bit because it is condensed if you buy a condensed variety. Mine is not condensed. I may or may not add a little bit of milk to my soup just to see if I've got the right consistency for my casserole. So I'm just going to take this over to the sink and dump my broccoli in my strainer. And then when my pasta is done cooking, which I'm not going to be cooking it all the way, I'm going to cook it till it's mostly done because it will be going in the oven. So I'll put this in my strainer, and then when I dump the hot pasta and hot pasta water through my strainer, it will help soften my frozen broccoli. And feel free to add onions and garlic or whatever seasonings and spices that you like. My soup already has onions and garlic and mushrooms in there, so I'm not going to be adding any of that today. I'm going to get my pasta opened and just get it ready. So this recipe, as you can see, it won't take us any time at all. The longest part of this recipe is cooking the pasta and then baking in the oven for about a half hour. And then I do have some salt in my water over there. And then this is a combination of breasts and thighs. I prefer dark meat, my husband prefers white meat, so we split the difference, and there you go. And then my soup is ready here. And then this is just some gluten-free cornflakes. Then it's about 2 cups that I put into this bag. So once you've got them as crummy as you'd like them to be, just set those aside. And then I've got about 2 tablespoons of butter will melt and toss those together for a topping. And then I need to get some cheese out of the fridge. So while I'm waiting for my water to come up to a boil, I've got some cheddar cheese here. I think this is medium cheddar cheese. But use your favorite cheese to mix into your casserole. So I got out a hot pad. We'll be mixing everything in our saucepan today. And this is a lot more than 2 cups of cheese. But that's all right. I have a lot of chicken. And I got a spatula. I have my soup sitting on this napkin here because it was in the freezer. And so when you take it out of the freezer, it kind of starts to get a little condensation and it gets a little weepy. So that is ready to go. It sounds like my water is boiling. Almost. Now I want my pasta to be almost done. I don't want it to be crunchy, but I don't want it to be really soft because it is going to be going in the oven. And then everything else is ready. I can melt my 2 tablespoons of butter. So there is my melted butter, and I got a bowl for my cornflake crumbs. You don't even have to put a topping on your casserole. I really like the little bit of crunch that it gives. If you're going to use cereal, make sure it is not a sweet flavored cereal. This is just regular gluten-free cornflakes. You could use breadcrumbs, you could use cracker crumbs, you could use potato chips. There's recipes out there where people use flavored potato chips. Whatever you like. So we'll just toss our melted butter in with our cornflake crumbs here. And check on my pasta that is boiling over. Okay, now we're just waiting for the pasta. The oven is preheated. All of my ingredients are ready. There we go. Set that aside. My pasta is as done as I'd like it to be. So now bring over your hot saucepan and we're going to dump in our cream of mushroom soup. Now, whenever I make large batches of this soup, I always put mine in the freezer in pint jars because that's usually the size that is what you need for a recipe. And if I make a double batch of something, I just take out 2 jars. The residual heat from the pan will help kind of soften my soup a little bit. I'm going to add in all of my chicken. In goes my pasta and my broccoli. This is broccoli that I froze myself, but buy a package of broccoli or mixed vegetables, whatever you like. Once you get that all mixed together, I decided I'm going to add in about 3/4 of a cup of milk just in the jar that my soup was in, that I measured it in there. I don't want my casserole to be soupy, but I also don't want it to be really dry. So once you get that all mixed in, I'm also going to add in my salt and pepper that I almost forgot about. This is to taste. If you have another seasoning that you want to put in here, throw it in. And I'm going to add in most of my shredded cheese. I like it to be cheesy all throughout my casserole. Oh, careful. Once you've got that all mixed together, bring over your casserole dish. Oh, I missed some right here. Get that in there. And then we'll just dump it in. It's very heavy. Oh boy. I think I made a little bit too much. I'm just trying to see how much more I can fit in here without making a really big mess and disaster. I think that's about all that will fit. Now I'm just going to take my remaining cheese, sprinkle this on top. I'm actually going to save a little bit for the other casserole that I'm going to be making now. And take our cornflake crumbs. Give them a good stir. I should have put this in a 9x13 and it would have fit perfectly. I always think for some reason this holds the same amount as a 9x13, but it doesn't. And I think I'm safe. Famous last words. Let's not take any chances. Get a cookie sheet and put your casserole dish on top. And then this will go in the oven for about 30 minutes or so. So I got a loaf pan and buttered it, and it's about the perfect size for the rest of my casserole here. It's not exactly enough to fill it up, but it's enough for one really big serving or 2 servings. You can buy disposable loaf pans in the grocery store, and those are really good for giving away. Oh, if you make some quick breads or something and then you just give it away, then you don't have to worry about getting your pan back. But those foil pans are also really good for campfires. If you've ever heard of a tinfoil dinner, it does the same thing because it's foil. And I've been known to show up at a campfire with something like this in a loaf pan, covered in foil, and you just throw it in the fire. I've done that with lasagna before. Makes a really good campfire dinner. So be creative. I'm going to put my remaining cereal crumbs on top here. Okay, there we go. I'll cover this in plastic wrap, and this one will go in the freezer for a really fast dinner or lunch or whatever. It's been 30 minutes, and it looks almost the exact same coming out of the oven as it did going in. So let's dig right in. Some of my cereal crumbs are golden brown, looks delicious, and it smells delicious. Be careful, it's hot and cheesy. Dropped a little bit there. Okay. Looks really good. Smells really good. Nothing fancy at all. Just a really simple casserole. It's really hot. And it tastes exactly like you would expect it to. It tastes like chicken, mushroom soup, a little bit of broccoli, and a little bit of crunch on top. Cheese all mixed in. Delicious. Nothing fancy at all, just a simple basic casserole that you can change every single time you make it. Don't forget to check out my Azure standard link in the description box below. Let me know what you think if you make this recipe. Let me know if you use chicken or ham or tuna fish. Let me know what vegetables you put in. Use this with your favorite gluten-free pasta, your favorite gluten-free cream soup, and you've got a delicious dinner that feeds a whole family, or you have quite a bit of leftovers. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll see you on the next one.